Hey 302, I'm Jackie Ferris. If you're like me, then you're just now starting to dip your toes back into some of the activities you did before the pandemic started. Well, today we're going to have a virtual discussion about all there is to see and do, what's opening and what's going to be opening down at the Riverfront. Plus, we're going to tell you how you can get updates on all of the activities. So, put your walking shoes on. The 302 is headed your way. Hey there, 302, I'm Jackie Ferris, and we're all starting to get back out into the community. We don't really know what's open, what's not open, what we're supposed to be doing, but we do know one thing: we want to have some fun. And I'm joined by Joe Valenti. He is the marketing manager for the Riverfront Development Corporation, and he's going to tell us all about what we can do down at the Riverfront. Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jackie. It's great to be here.
So let's talk a little bit, first of all, it's been a really rough couple of months for businesses across the board. Talk to me about how the pandemic has impacted the Riverfront.
Sure, yeah. I mean, as you said, it has been rough, definitely. Initially, everything pretty much was closed down on the Riverfront. All of the restaurants were closed, at least initially. All of our attractions, especially when all of this first began in March, all of our attractions that were open were indoor attractions, so they all closed. Our children's museum, our trampoline park, the IMAX theater, things like that. As we've gone through and we've progressed a little bit, and things have gotten a little bit better, a little bit more opened up. Most of the restaurants have reopened. They initially opened with some curbside offerings, to go, contactless pickup, things like that. The one thing that really never closed and remained open was our nature trails, which obviously are outdoors, and people are able to kind of navigate them safely and maintaining a distance. But it definitely has been difficult even now as we begin to reopen things.
Now, I know there are a lot of things that people are being asked to do, primarily to social distance, 6 feet apart from people that we don't have daily contact with, and washing our hands, and just really being mindful of our surroundings and people around us. So with this in mind, did the businesses, specifically like the restaurants, did they get together and say, we're going to have a uniform plan, this is what we're going to do? Is there any kind of effort like that?
I wouldn't say a formal plan. We at the Riverfront have really been kind of working with them. I've been in contact with most of them throughout all of this, just trying to see what we could do to help, to really kind of make their business as profitable and sustainable for them as possible. A lot of them are not necessarily chains, but are one of of several corporate locations. So they have been kind of operating under their own group structure, as well as with the Riverfront together. Like I said, we've sort of been trying to kind of bring all of them together and kind of have some sort of uniformity to it. But they've all been operating under whatever they're able to do, what best fits them as far as outdoor seating, limited seating, and in accordance with the state and the different mandates that the state has in place as far as where they can sit. Going with a limited seating section, and now even indoors with some of the spatial restrictions that we have. Obviously, people are we're asking everyone to wear a mask when they go indoors until they eat, until they sit at their seat, which is at least 6, if not more, feet apart. So we've been it's been difficult, but they've just been making it work and just doing the best that they can to make sure that it is safe for everyone, and somewhere that people feel comfortable going to.
Now, I know some of the restaurants had to shut down completely. Have they all started to reopen? Did we lose any businesses on the Riverfront because of this?
Actually, at this point, all of the restaurants have reopened. The River Rock Kitchen, which is in the Westin, their restaurant was one of the last to open. They've recently, just last week, reopened. And it was just a matter of, what worked for them as far as maintaining, the best possible solution for, ensuring safety and the quality of the dining. We did lose the Joe's Crab Shack. That was on Justice Street next to the Children's Museum. However, that really wasn't COVID related or pandemic related. They were their lease was up. They were looking to move on to a different location, as it is, prior to this. So that spot is currently open, and we're looking to fill that, shortly with another place.
Sure, I can imagine. People are still down there having or trying to have a good time, because people, they get a little stir crazy, after months and months, and the restaurants down there are amazing. What kinds of what's the gamut there? I know from a previous show we sat outside by the riverfront. It was beautiful, but what's the kind of variety that we can see down there?
Sure. Yeah. Really, as it was prior to all of this, with everything reopening, we really have a wide variety of different things. Big Fish Grill really has some excellent seafood options, as well as Banks Seafood Kitchen. I believe that's Jackie, you and I actually sat there for a little while right on the river with some of the outdoor seating, which has been great for them, obviously, to utilize that outdoor spot. We have Iron Hill, which obviously has a lot of different, family type of food, but also the brewery right there where you can pick up in-house or now, to go beer as well. Timothy's, there's Del Pez, which is the Mexican gastropub. Our Riverfront Market, which closed briefly but then reopened for to go and now in-house seating as well, has a variety of different Mexican sushi, salads, sandwiches, coffee, fresh fruit and produce. So kind of, really whatever you're looking for, right along the Riverwalk, you can kind of find something that matches what your needs are.
All right, so we've covered the food. You've made my mouth water. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the activities and the events that are happening at the Riverfront. We'll be right back.
I'm Carol, and I love the 302.
Welcome back, 302. We're talking about all there is to see and do and partake in down at the Riverfront. I'm joined by Joe Valenti. Joe, let's talk a little bit about the activities. People were always allowed to walk and to jog and bike, things like that. But now, slowly, we're starting to see some activities and some entertainment out there, right?
We are, yeah. Actually, just this past last week, we opened our miniature golf course. The Riverwalk Mini Golf opened finally. We were actually eligible to open as part of phase 1, but wanted to just make sure that it was as safe as possible. We had all of our sanitation in place and all of our different protocols and things of that nature, and we're able to safely distance people. So we just reopened that. That is a safe option outdoor, everyone socially distanced, which miniature golf kind of lends itself to begin with, but we're actually, limiting some capacity and things like that, sanitation stations with the clubs and things like that. So that's been a very popular attraction right along the Riverwalk. We do have the ice cream stand right there as well. So that's been popular if we were, obviously in this weather as we've reopened. We've actually had a few outdoor events. The Grand Theater has actually begun to do some outdoor concerts. It's their Concert by Car series, which they've been having out of the Frawley Stadium, the baseball stadium parking lot, where you actually drive up and from your car able to watch a live concert.
Yeah, that was, I guess, the first or the last one they had. Was it the first one, but it was completely sold out, right?
It was, yeah. They've had two. The first one was the Rock Orchestra, a Wilmington group that performed some Beatles hits. And then just this past weekend, they actually had their second one. It was the band was called Echoes. It's a Pink Floyd tribute band, and both have gone really well. They both did sell out. They actually had some additional parking that they opened up for the Echo show, and both went really well. It was a great. I was there for watched everyone enjoy from their car or from right outside of their car, but at a safe distance from other people. To really get to actually have some sense of normalcy and enjoy some summer activities.
So how exactly does that work? I know it sounds like it should be obvious. You enjoy the concert from your car, but where do you buy your tickets? And is it something that you listen to on your radio, or can you just hear it?
There are actually either option. All the tickets are purchased online and then printed or shown from your phone, and can be checked from your window while it's closed. So you don't really have any interaction with another human as you pull up. Then they direct you to distance spots, sort of in every other parking spot kind of a situation where you're distance out from the car next to you. You can roll your windows down, you can get out and sit in lawn chairs or on your car or whatever in front of your vehicle, so you have that buffer of space around you. However, they also we have FM frequencies that you can pick up and actually listen to the concert as well as watch it through your car with the windows closed, if you want to just have the windows up, the air conditioner on, and just listen on the radio.
It's kind of like, I don't know about you, but growing up, there were the drive-in movies. And now it's the kind of thing that's coming back. It's a really kind of nostalgic way to get out and enjoy an evening with your family, maybe bring a picnic. Did you see a lot of people tailgating, as it were?
There were, yeah. I mean, most people had some sort of either, just refreshments and snacks, things like that. They were out, with their families, maybe with takeout. They stopped at some of the restaurants prior to coming and picked up, an early dinner and then brought that there. So it's, like you said, it's just people are finding unique ways to, just enjoy time with family and friends in a safe way, however they can.
Now, I know that there's a number of businesses, and one of the big draws that we had talked about was the beer garden. Are we going to see that open soon? And what else is going to be happening down at the Riverfront?
Yes, the beer garden actually did reopen. They are in a limited capacity, obviously, having folks wear masks as they come in until they get to their seat with their group. They're using waitress service and different techniques to be able to, limit interaction with other people. But they are open. They are actually having some live entertainment as well. So just again, sort of getting back to that normalcy of what they're offering. Additionally, we do have some other events in the works. We're looking at doing a concert of our own through the Riverfront, one of our parking lots, one of our larger parking lots, to be able to, have more cars and more folks available to be there. So we do have some things in the works. Again, as you mentioned before, with the nature trails, as these summer months have gone on, the Environmental Center is reopened for in-person classes and demonstrations, things like that, guided tours. So we do have some of the traditional summer activities that we have are available to people.
Well, it's always such a popular spot, no matter what's happening, thankfully. Beautiful, good place to go, like I said, to run and jog. Now, we have a pretty big summer holiday coming up, the end of summer, Labor Day weekend. Are you guys working on anything for Labor Day weekend?
We are not specifically through the Riverfront. I know that with the 4th of July fireworks, when they were canceled, that's through the city specifically, and they had talked about Labor Day as a possible rescheduling date. That really is on them as far as when, and I guess the city and state mandates as well, whether or not that will be feasible. So really on the Riverfront end, I mean, we're just looking to just have as many of our attractions, indoor and outdoor, in whatever capacity we can, available to people to make use of that weekend, as well as any other nice weather weekends we have.
Excellent. Now, we are going to talk a little bit more about all there is to see and do at the Riverfront and how you can have all of it right at your fingertips. I'm talking with Joe Valenti with the Riverfront, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Scott, and I love the 302.
Welcome back. We're talking about the Riverfront and how everyone is starting to get out and get back down there to enjoy food and entertainment. And just recently, a concert in a parking lot in the car. Joe, I got to tell you, that sounds really cool. And there's so much that's starting to happen. And as you said, things are kind of in flux right now. So you have to take it day by day. And when making your plans, you have to be on top of it. And you guys have not only social media, but you also have an app. So first of all, let's dive into the social media aspect of it. Talk to me a little bit about how you're keeping people informed.
Sure. I mean, really on our Facebook and Instagram pages through the Riverfront, Friends of Riverfront Wilmington on Facebook and Riverfront Wilmington on Instagram. Just multiple times per week, we update folks with what we have going on, if there's any events such as the concerts. Actually, the county has done several rounds of COVID testing in the stadium parking lot. So as they come up, we've been promoting those and just making people aware if they're looking for that information, what they can do. We post just updates on our hours of the miniature golf course, of our the different restaurants, different specials they may be offering, either takeout or in person, any live events such as the concerts. The Delaware Children's Museum, they actually are still closed and probably will remain through the summer and into the fall. Just obviously, an indoor large large gathering of children facilities. It's probably one of the later things to open, but they've been almost daily on their social media offering at-home activities that parents can replicate with their children to just kind of bring the best part of the museum home to the kids and just give everybody something to do while the kids are at home and not playing and interacting like they normally would be.
That's a very valuable resource. I know we had the Delaware Children's Museum twice. Once with you, and then we did something with some of the staff members, some of their social media folks. And, they are always thinking of new ways to kind of connect with their audience. And from what I understand, that audience has been rapidly building over the summer because they've just kept going, right? Now, how many times a week do they do that? And where can parents check that out?
It's roughly 5 times a week. They'll post something. They do a daily story, a read-along, a story read-along with a children's book, as well as multiple times per week an at-home activity, some sort of STEM or STEAM activity that they can, kids can engage in with their parents, using all materials that you would normally have at home in the cupboard or, with your art supplies, things like that. The best place probably to check them out would be on Facebook is Delaware Children's Museum, or on Instagram, DE Children's Museum.
Now, I know a lot of people are going to be checking that out. We're all online, we're all streaming, but for some people, there's nothing like a theater. What's the situation with the IMAX?
The IMAX theater is currently reopened. It is in limited capacity. It is obviously socially distanced seating. Everything is online. You purchase your ticket and your seat ahead of time, just to minimize any kind of interaction. But they are beginning to show actual movies in the movie theater again. So it's great again. It's just kind of getting back to that little bit of normalcy wherever we can get it.
Now, we talked about the social media, keeping on top of what's happening, but you actually have an app. Mm-hmm. So talk to us about the importance of the app. This is a relatively new thing, right?
Yes, it is. We actually, you can look at it. It's look it up and purchase or download for free on either the Google or iOS store. You would search either just Riverfront or Riverfront Delaware or Riverfront DE. You'll find it easily, and it essentially is just an online version of our brochure. So it has a full list of a map of the riverfront. You can filter by attractions, so you could look for, if you're just looking for restaurants, and click on each one of those. It has a full listing, just all the different attractions, places to stay, different kids events, things like that. And you can actually just quick click to their listing and or website and just find out everything about each one that you were looking for. We send out a notification on that probably 2 or 3 times a week. Give or take, depending on what's going on and what's happening. Again, just to inform people if there is an event coming up, when the mini golf is open, what the hours are, just reminders of things like that, stuff like the COVID testing. If there is any sort of traffic or any kind of situation that would maybe cause delay, or maybe we want you to stay away from a certain spot on the riverfront due to when the bridges are up or something like that. We always post that sort of information. So it's really just a good resource to have with you. If you live down there, if you work down there, on the riverfront, or even just, for any time you want to visit, just to check that before you go.
Sure. Because say you're going to meet somebody for a cocktail, or you're taking your family to dinner, you've got where you can eat, if there are any specials, if there's any entertainment, and what the traffic situation is. And it all comes through a push notification, you said?
That's right. Yeah, it's push notifications that you can opt in or out of, but you would receive them, like I said, roughly a couple times a week, depending on on the events and how much we have going on at that given time. We also work with some of the restaurants, more so when before things were shut down, but now as they're beginning to reopen, where they will send a notification that if you showed the app or proof of the app at the restaurant, you can receive a free appetizer or a free discounted entree or something of that nature with download of the app. So it definitely benefits everybody to have that on them for those things as well.
Well, we're certainly excited to get back out there. Just one more time, I wanted just to talk a little bit about the extra measures that you guys are doing down there to make sure everybody's safe. Do you have signage? And you mentioned hand sanitation stations. Can you kind of walk me through what's out there in case we forget our sanitizer or something like that?
Sure, definitely. Yeah, we do have some extra hand sanitizer stations. You mentioned that touchless, where you can go up and get that if you need it along the Riverwalk. obviously any of the facilities that are open, the restaurants, the attractions, they all have that at the ready. As you enter the mini golf, it's right there for you, that sort of thing. We do have some signage up just to remind people as they're on the Riverwalk to maintain that 6 feet of distance, to have a mask, to hopefully to wear that, especially when they're unable to maintain that distance, but really just to have it with them, wear that whenever they're on the Riverwalk, because there are points where it can get a little bit tight as you pass through certain areas on the boards where you might have to pass by some people. And then we have some reminders on the actual Riverwalk floor itself, just to kind of show people what 6 feet of distance is, just so there's a point of reference for that, so they can actually realize when they're at a safe distance from everybody. And to be honest, for the most part, along the trails, the nature trails, the Jackie Markell bike trail, you really are able to maintain that distance throughout the entire course of your stay and your journey through the Riverwalk.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to grab my mask, my sanitizer, and head on down. Joe Valenti, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you on to talk about the Riverfront.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to talk to you, Jackie. It's always a pleasure.
All right, we'll be right back.
For more information on all there is to see and do down at the Riverfront, be sure to download that app. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the 302. We leave you now with some breathtaking video at Winterthur Garden. Until next time, I'm Jackie Ferris. We'll see you on the 302.